Well, you've probably seen the movie Judge Dredd before, where Stallone mumbles his lines for about 96 minutes, and that was the first time I encountered the character. Dredd is actually part of the 2080 comic book series set in a gloomy future where people have been ushered into megacities after various international conflicts. In an attempt to police these cities, the judicial system was changed, making the police force into street judges who act as judge, jury, and executioner on the spot. So after the film's failure, I had high hopes for the video game. On to the review.
Let's kill you!
If you're hoping for a better story than the movie, I'd say this is about the same as it. The plot barely makes any sense. We've got vampires running around, zombies popping up left and right, and dark judges from a parallel universe. Wait a sec, dark judges from a parallel universe? I think if I read the comic I'd understand the story more. Unfortunately, its impact on the game is fairly minimal. There are some cutscenes with Ghostbuster references and Red Bull cans lying around, so I paid more attention to those than the convoluted mess overall. There are some breaks from the awfulness with some dark humor moments, particularly when you glance at these advertisements around the world. Yeah, I have to admit the artwork is fairly nice. The world is very colourful and the background detailing is excellent. As for the character models, they've been modelled in a comic book style, and Dredd himself had me making this comparison in chins. I have to make a complaint about the vampires because they don't look very vampire-y. Wait a sec. Freeze frame. I said freeze frame. This is a vampire? What? Oh well, it's still better than Twilight. Unfortunately, the engine doesn't make the game very smooth. I noticed the same thing on 3 different computers, and once you turn off the view bobbing, it vastly improves performance, although turning still feels awkward.
Judge Dredd, glad you could join us.
Dredd vs. Death's gameplay. Oh yeah, why did they need the name twice in the title? Anyway, the gameplay is some kind of hybrid. It's a combination between GoldenEye, Left 4 Dead, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's trying to be too many themes. You make the switch to melee and ranged enemies in each level. With the gunfighting parts of the game, they're not half bad. You have a law meter attached to Dredd, and if you kill gang members that surrender, it goes down, so you have to shoot them in the back and tell them very gingerly to surrender before placing a set of cuffs and sending them to the cubes. This gameplay mode isn't perfect by any means. While you're under fire, it's annoying to line up shots with their knees or some areas so you don't kill them too fast. Then there's the meter itself. Dredd must be a seriously zealous judge because he gives every normal citizen a sentence of 6 months. The next problem is when you kill enemies which are always hostile towards you. If you shoot them with the incendiary mode on your lawgiver, you lose the game. Yeah, that makes sense. Other levels are centered on encounters with zombies or vampires. These really blow hard for one reason. They move slow, so slow in fact you can just skip them all. Imagine playing Left 4 Dead by just running past every zombie. That's not fun. When you do engage them, it's a good idea to just shoot them once to stun lock them and then follow it up with a heavy melee. Oh yeah, the weapons, right. Well, Dredd has the Lawgiver gun, which is like an every-purpose pistol. It has a lot of firing modes. In the story, you have to carry it around as a primary weapon, which sucks because it has limited ammo and changing fire modes takes forever. Plus, there's the problem of breaking the law, as I discussed earlier. You don't get to play around with many of the weapons for too long. The game gives you the laser pistols for about 2 minutes, so you practically have a shotgun or pistol. It's dumb because the weapons are slow and makes combat a bore. When you get the rifles, then you feel good. I also like the reloading method because it's like Perfect Dark. It's not a hard game at all, only the melee enemies hit roughly if they can catch you. It almost makes this regenerative shield pointless as it can't fully absorb a hit. What's worse is that you can beat it in under 2 hours, and that's with fighting zombies and vampires. If you didn't, you could complete it in less than half an hour, no joke. Some levels contain secondary objectives, but usually I just let the civilians die and move on. It doesn't affect my performance. Oh. And the bosses? Push a button or stun lock them to death. The supplements for this game are the arcade mode, where you fight a series of challenges to attain rankings and unlock more multiplayer skins. It's mainly pointless because no one plays multiplayer, but the zombie headshot level was intense. Multiplayer is standard. You can fight some bot matches, but I strongly recommend avoiding the vampire mode, where you take damage and hear an annoying sound throughout the match. Otherwise, you could play the co-op story mode with someone that actually owns the game, and play with the cheats if you really want to. The music is great, and the voice acting is an improvement from the film and provides for some comic relief, which is welcome. I enjoyed the sound, and that's all I need to say about it.
This ISO cube with your name on it.
This is an outrage.
Get on your knees.
Okay.
Big mistake. You're going away for 10 life.
I'll put
We're
this
gonna
system
throw
on
away the
trial.
key.
I'm innocent.
You're going down 10 years.
Regret this.
That's 2 down. 2 to go. I'll be the judge of that.
Now, I don't believe Dredd vs. Death is a really bad game. I just think it's too short and could have been expanded into something much better. In another review, someone wrote a title which summarizes my thoughts about this game: Something for the Weekend. It's cheap and definitely better than the movie, so why not just have a Dredd weekend and do both? Dredd vs. Death is available on Steam for $7.99 US and GOG.com for $5.99 US. You might as well persuade a friend to join you in the story mode so it's less painful.